No one expected this. In the middle of a sold-out arena, Kendrick Lamar stopped the music, turned to the crowd, and pulled out a folder. Inside, according to Kendrick, was something that could destroy Drake's career forever. A hidden contract that he claimed proved everything fans had been speculating for years. The audience gasped, phones shot into the air, and Twitter's sorry eggs exploded within seconds. Was this just another stage stunt in hip-hop's biggest rivalry? Or had Kendrick actually crossed the line into revealing private career-ending secrets? Drake's camp hasn't commented yet, but rumors say his lawyers are already in overdrive. This isn't just beef anymore, says war on paper. Hashtag Kendrick vs. Drake. Hashtag hidden contract. Hashtag rap beef. At Kendrick Lamar, at Drake. At hip hop, the crowd at the Staples Center was electric, vibrating with anticipation. It wasn't just another Kendrick Lamar concert. It was the night everyone had been whispering about online for weeks. Rumors swirled that Kendrick had something planned, something big. Fans had speculated about a surprise song, maybe even a diss. But no one, not even the most obsessive members of hashtag Team Kendrick, could have predicted what was about to happen. The lights dimmed and the massive LED screen behind the stage flickered. Kendrick's silhouette emerged through a haze of smoke, his head bowed, mic in hand. The beat of All Right started to play, but halfway through the first verse, he stopped cold. Silence swept across the arena. Before I continue, Kendrick's voice boomed through the speakers, low and deliberate. I need y'all to see something. The audience erupted in confused murmurs. Camera phones shot up like a wave. Kendrick reached into his jacket and pulled out a thick manila folder. It was old school, no USB drives, no tablets, just paper, the kind that carried weight in your hands. He held it up for everyone to see. The spotlight hit the folder and the cameras zoomed in for the Jumbotron, in bold black letters across the front. Fans could make out the words, "Confidential Recording Agreement." The crowd gasped. "K-Dot, what is that?" Someone shouted from the pit. Kendrick smirked, but didn't answer right away. He walked to the edge of the stage, looking out over the sea of people. "For years," he began, "they've been selling y'all a story about who runs this game, about who's the real king. But kings don't hide their crowns in paperwork. They wear them in the open." A hush fell over the crowd. The LED screen behind him suddenly lit up with a blurred document, names, dates, and lines of text scrolled across the massive backdrop. "This right here," Kendrick said, tapping the folder, "is something Drake never wanted you to see. Something that explains why certain songs dropped when they did, why certain artists disappeared, why certain beefs got buried." His tone was icy, every syllable hitting like a snare drum. People in the audience were already live streaming. Twitter timelines exploded with shaky videos and captions like, "Kendrick is exposing Drake right now," and "This is the wildest concert I've ever been to." Kendrick opened the folder and pulled out the first page. The camera zoomed in close enough for the audience to read the header. Non-disclosure agreement between Aubrey, Drake, Graham, and the rest was blurred out, but the damage was already done. Gasps echoed through the arena. Kendrick continued. "This is from 2016, right before one of the biggest tours of that year. I'm not saying names on this page don't matter, but I am saying you'll recognize them." He flipped to the second page. And this part. "This explains how certain artists get paid to stay silent, how verses get pulled, how narratives get adjusted." The audience roared. Some booed, some cheered. Fans were already splitting into camps. Hashtag expose Drake and hashtag protect Drake started trending within minutes. Kendrick walked back to center stage, holding the papers like sacred texts. "This ain't about me winning a beef. This is about truth. This is about every kid who ever thought the game was fair." His voice cracked slightly, and that's when it hit. This wasn't just theatrics. There was real anger, maybe even betrayal, behind his words. Suddenly, the LED screen changed again, showing what looked like a scanned email thread. The sender's name was redacted, but the recipient line was visible: Aubrey@ovo-something.com. The subject line read, "Urgent Contractual Silence Clause." The arena went nuclear. Kendrick turned, pointing at the screen. "They told me not to show this. They said it would ruin careers. But I don't care anymore. I'm not here to protect an image. I'm here to protect hip-hop." Security guards and stagehands were suddenly moving at the edges of the platform. Some fans thought they saw a man in a suit trying to wave Kendrick off from the wings. He ignored them. The bass kicked in, not from the band, but from a track. Kendrick queued up himself. It was a beat no one had heard before, slow and menacing, with a deep, rumbling bass line. He started freestyling over it, weaving lines about hidden deals and puppeteers pulling strings from behind velvet curtains. The crowd screamed every time he dropped a subliminal that everyone knew was about Drake. "Sign your soul for streams and gold. Paper Kings, your crown's been sold. Behind the curtain, truth unfolds, the stories they ain't never told." Every bar felt like a direct shot, and then Medverse Kendrick stopped again. He walked to the mic stand, placed the folder on top, and looked straight into the nearest camera. His eyes were cold. "Aubrey," he said, speaking Drake's real first name for the first time that night, "I told you the truth would come out. Now, you can either explain this yourself, or I'll read the rest of it tomorrow night in Toronto." The crowd lost it. Fans threw their hands in the air, others covered their mouths in shock. Social media feeds were now entirely consumed by clips from the concert. Security finally stepped closer, clearly trying to usher Kendrick into the next song, but he waved them off one last time. "This is hip-hop, right? This is competition, right? Then let's compete with the truth, not contracts." He grabbed the mic, dropped into the opening bars of Humble, and the arena erupted once more. But everyone knew the music was just background naff. Real story was in that folder by the time Kendrick left the stage that night. Hashtags like #hidden contract, #KDOT exposes Drake, and #Kendrick truth bomb were trending worldwide. Drake silent, at least for now. The moment Kendrick's set ended, the internet detonated. TikTok was flooded with shaky vertical videos of him holding up the folder, pausing mid-concert to address Aubrey directly. On Instagram, fan pages looped the words "Toronto, tomorrow night" over and over like it was a countdown to Judgment Day. Twitter, still stubbornly called Twitter by most fans, was nothing but split loyalties and conspiracy threads. But in Toronto, far from the chaos of Los Angeles, Drake's phone was blowing up. It started as a few texts from friends. "Bro, you watching this?" Followed by links. Then his lawyer called. Then his manager. By the time his mother left a voicemail asking if he was okay, Drake had already seen the clip on 3 different platforms. He sat in the control room of a private studio, surrounded by half-finished mixes for his upcoming album. The bass from the last track still thumped faintly in the background, but Drake wasn't hearing it. His eyes were fixed on his phone, replaying Kendrick's words. "You can either explain this yourself, or I'll read the rest tomorrow night in Toronto." Drake tossed the phone onto the console, rubbing his face. "This is cap. All of it. He's reaching," he muttered, but the crack in his voice betrayed him. His manager, Future, the Prince, leaned forward. "It doesn't matter if it's real or fake. It's good perception is already out there. He just painted you as the industry's puppet master. People are gonna believe what they want." Drake swiveled his chair around. "So what? I drop a diss track tonight. Call him out." Future shook his head. "Too soon. You respond too fast. It looks like panic. You wait too long. It looks like guilt." He paused, lowering his voice. "We have to figure out how much he actually knows." Drake's lawyer patched in via speakerphone. "Cut in. It's that NDA in the video. It's relits from 2016. That's the OVO Sound Live clause. Not illegal, but Not a good look if the full terms leak, especially the section about artist exclusivity and suppression clauses. Suppression clauses. Drake snapped. It was business. We're protecting the brand. Tell that? To the court of public opinion, the lawyer replied flatly. Meanwhile, in a small apartment in downtown LA, 22-year-old music blogger named Ray posted a grainy screenshot of Kendrick's Jumbotron moment, zooming in on the header. Non-disclosure. Agreement between Aubrey Drake Graham and he didn't know who the other name was, but his followers were already trying to match the blurred letters with known artists. Within an hour, hashtag who signed it started trending. Back in Toronto, Drake's studio was now filled with his inner circle. Chubbs paced in the corner, muttering curses. Noah 40 Shabib sat silently, his face pale. The tension was suffocating. We need to control the narrative, Future said, finally breaking the silence. Put out a statement that the document was doctored. That Kendrick's trying to distract from his own controversies. Drake scoffed. What controversies? The man's squeaky clean, except for this little tough guy act. Future raised an eyebrow. You sure about that? Remember 2019? The unreleased verse. Drake froze. That's what I'm saying. Future continued. If he still has that, and he's willing to drop contracts on stage, what's stopping him from releasing audio? No one spoke for several seconds. The hum of the mixing board filled the air. Finally, 40 leaned forward. If he goes through with this tomorrow night, he's not just playing the game, he's rewriting the rules. Artists don't survive this kind of public takedown unless they own the narrative immediately. Drake grabbed his phone again, scrolling through unread texts. There was one from an unknown number. If you want to stop this, call me. I have what you need. He stared at it, his mind racing. Was this bait? A troll? Or someone from Kendrick's own camp looking to cash out? Future noticed. What's that? Maybe nothing. Maybe everything, Drake said quietly. Elsewhere, Kendrick was holed up in a downtown hotel suite surrounded by his closest allies. On the coffee table sat the same manila folder, now open. Its contents spread out like evidence in a detective's office. A MacBook played back clips of the concert, each one more viral than the last. One of Kendrick's team members, Punch, scrolled through his phone. Bro, Drake hasn't said a word yet. Know what that means? That he's scared? Another laughed. No, Punch said. That he's calculating. Kendrick sat back in his chair, sipping tea. Good. Let him calculate. Every minute he stays quiet, the truth gets louder. Punch leaned forward. You ready for tomorrow? If you read the rest of that contract in his city, that's war. Kendrick didn't flinch. It's already war. Back in Toronto, Drake was in the vocal booth. The room was dark except for the glow of the control panel. He pulled the headphones over his ears, took a deep breath, and started recording. Not a full diss track, but a cold, pointed 16 bars aimed right at Kendrick. No stage lights gone save you from the shadows. Paper in your hand, but the truth. That's borrowed. Talk loud now, for I leak what you swallowed. Toronto on my back, and the storm gonna follow. When he stepped out of the booth, 40 looked at him carefully. This isn't going to make the contract disappear. It's just going to make him hungrier. Drake nodded. Good, then we're both eating tomorrow night. By 3 a.m., both artists' teams were locked in preparation. Kendrick's camp booked extra security for the Toronto show. Drake's camp was fielding calls from journalists demanding comment. Neither side was backing down. And as the sun began to rise, the world realized this wasn't just a rap beef anymore. It was a countdown to the most explosive onstage confrontation in hip-hop history. #KDO-TV's Drake. #hidden contract, #rap battle 22-5, at Kendrick Lamar, at Drake, at HipHopDX, at Complex Music. By the time Kendrick's jet touched down in Toronto, the city was already on edge. News crews were stationed outside the arena, hoping to catch a glimpse of him. Every radio station had dropped their usual playlists in favor of hour-by-hour updates about the contract showdown. Even cab drivers debated it between fares, half swearing Kendrick was bluffing, half convinced Drake's entire career was about to implode. Kendrick stepped off the plane wearing a black hoodie, sunglasses, and the same calm expression he'd worn in LA, but beneath the composure, his mind was racing. Every move he made today would be magnified 1,000 times over. The stakes weren't just personal. This was about legacy, reputation, and a very public power struggle at the arena. Fans had started lining up at dawn. Some waved homemade signs, "OVO forever," read "The Contract King," and the blunt "Drake's done." Others wore masks with each artist's face printed on them, ready to film every reaction. Outside vendors were selling unofficial Contract Wars merch before the first sound check even happened. Backstage, Kendrick's team moved with precision, punch, reviewed security routes. Dave free-handled press inquiries, deflecting questions with practiced vagueness. The manila folder was locked in a black hardshell case, cored by a security guard who looked like he could bench press a tour bus. Kendrick sat in his dressing room, scrolling through social media. Drake still hadn't posted a single story, not a tweet, not even a cryptic emoji. That silence was louder than any diss track. Suddenly, his phone buzzed a DM from an account he didn't follow. "He's going to make his move before you even hit the stage. Watch your team." Kendrick frowned. Could be a troll, could be real. Either way, the warning gnawed at him. Across the city, in a penthouse suite overlooking Lake Ontario, Drake was in his own war room. His stylist was laying out outfits. His PR manager was drafting a neutral but firm statement. But Drake's focus was elsewhere, on a single USB drive. Sitting on the coffee table, inside that drive was something he'd been holding on to for years. A raw, unmastered recording from 2019. A Kendrick verse that had never seen the light of day one, where the Compton MC had been less than flattering about certain West Coast peers, and had name-dropped a few industry figures in a way that could burn bridges instantly. Drake spun the drive in his fingers. Dropping it now would be nuclear. But was it the right nuke? Timing is everything, Future reminded him. If you drop that before his show, you take the crowd away from him. If you drop it after, it looks like damage control. Which one? Says power to you. Drake smirked. Before, always before. By late afternoon, whispers were already spreading through Toronto's downtown core. Unconfirmed tweets claimed that something big was going to leak before Kendrick even touched the mic. TikTok conspiracy accounts began live streaming from coffee shops, analyzing body language from both camps. At 6:43 p.m., the leak hit. No warning, no credits. Just a 45-second snippet uploaded to a burner SoundCloud account and linked in a viral tweet. So Kendrick, you forgot about this. The verse was unmistakably Kendrick's voice. Fans went into immediate forensic mode, analyzing tone, rhyme schemes, even the microphone quality to confirm authenticity. The content was damning in context. Casual shots at unnamed West Coast fakes and a sharp jab at an industry legend who had publicly supported Kendrick for years. Within minutes, the snippet was everywhere. Backstage at the arena, Kendrick's phone started buzzing nonstop. His crew was split half, insisting it was a regenerated, half recognizing it from an old, unreleased session. The real issue wasn't whether it was real. The real issue was that Drake had just shifted the spotlight. "This is his play, Punch," said, pacing. "He's trying to make tonight about you explaining that verse instead of him explaining that contract." Kendrick's jaw tightened. "Then we make it about both." By 8:15 p.m., the arena was full. The energy was electric, but tense like a crowd waiting for a referee to signal the start of a heavyweight fight. Opening acts had come and gone, but the main event wasn't music anymore. This was theater. Kendrick's set began with a version of DNA. No dancers, no flashy visuals, just him and the mic. Every lyric landed like a stone in still water. The crowd roared, but there was an undercurrent of anticipation. Everyone knew the moment was coming. Midway through his fourth song, he stopped. The stage lights dimmed to a single spotlight. "Before we go any further," Kendrick said, his voice echoing through the arena, "I heard somebody tried to change the conversation tonight." The crowd erupted, half boos, half cheers. He took a slow step toward the center. "You leak something from 5 years ago? That's desperation. If you hide behind files and fake moves, that's fear." Then he gestured to the black case, which was carried on stage by his security. The guard unlocked it. Kendrick pulled out the manila folder. "This is what fear looks like on paper," he said, holding it up. The Jumbotron zoomed in. "And tonight, in your city, I'm gonna let everybody see exactly what you've been hiding." The crowd was deafening now. Back in the VIP section, Drake sat stone-faced, surrounded by his entourage. His phone buzzed with a text from Future. "Do we pull the plug?" Drake typed back, "Not yet." Kendrick flipped the first page open. The crowd quieted to a low hum, every phone in the arena recording. "This," Kendrick began, "is a contract between Aubrey Drake Graham and someone you all know." And then the arena was frozen in a perfect moment of suspense. Kendrick stood under the spotlight, contract in hand, eyes scanning the crowd. Every second he waited felt like an eternity. The cameras zoomed in on his face, the high-definition Jumbotron capturing every flicker of emotion. "This contract," Kendrick said slowly, "is between Aubrey Drake Graham and one of the biggest puppet masters in this industry." He turned the page, the paper crinkling under the mic. The sound echoed through the speakers like thunder. Jimmy Iovine. Gasps. Actual audible gasps rippled through the crowd. Jimmy Iovine, the legendary music executive, co-founder of Interscope, the man behind some of hip-hop's biggest careers, was not someone you expected to be tangled in a hidden deal scandal. This document, Kendrick continued, holding it up so the cameras could zoom in, outlines a side arrangement made in 2016, an arrangement that gave Drake exclusive priority over certain streaming algorithms and blocked other artists, including myself, from playlist placement during release week. The crowd erupted in disbelief. Some fans booed, others screamed in support. Online, Twitter Spaces lit up instantly, people debating whether this was even possible, dissecting the legality, throwing around accusations about Spotify and Apple. Music bias. Back in the VIP section, Drake leaned forward in his seat, jaw tight. His team huddled close, speaking in low, urgent voices. One of his security guards stepped toward the aisle as if awaiting orders. Kendrick kept reading. It says, here, he flipped to another page, that for 3 years. This deal ensured a minimum number of playlist spots for OVO releases, in exchange for a percentage of those streaming revenues being funneled back through a private entity. That entity, he paused, looking directly into the VIP section. It's registered in the Cayman Islands. The arena was a storm now. People were chanting Kendrick's name. Others were shouting, fake, fake. But the energy was undeniable. Kendrick had the moment in his hands. And that's when the lights flickered. For a split second, the Jumbotron went black. Then, instead of the contract, a different video feed appeared, grainy. Shaky footage of Kendrick backstage, moments before going on. The angle was high, like from a hidden camera. On screen, Kendrick could be seen laughing with his crew, holding the same manila folder. Then, in the video, he opened it. Inside was nothing but blank paper. The crowd reacted instantly, half gasping, half roaring with laughter. Drake's entourage erupted, pointing toward the screen. Kendrick froze, his expression unreadable. Cute trick, he said into the mic. You really brought your surveillance team to your own show. The lights snapped back to normal. The Jumbotron returning to Kendrick's live feed. He stepped forward. Y'all see how fast he tries to switch the narrative. First, a fake leak. Now, a fake video. This is what happens when you get desperate. Drake had heard enough. He stood, and the crowd near him screamed in shock. Cameras followed his every move as he walked toward the stage, flanked by two massive security guards. Kendrick didn't move. The tension was electric, two titans of hip-hop, about to face each other in front of 20,000 people and millions watching online when Drake reached the steps. One of Kendrick's guards blocked the way. Words were exchanged loud enough for the first few rows to hear. But lost under the roar of the arena, Drake pulled out a phone, swiping to a screen, and held it up for Kendrick to see. Even from a distance, fans could make out the text. "You. Read one more page, and this goes live." Kendrick smiled faintly. "Do it." The crowd exploded. Drake hesitated just a split second, but long enough for the cameras to catch it. Then he stepped back, shaking his head. Kendrick raised the contract high. "Toronto, you wanted the truth. Here it is." He flipped to the last page. "This," he read, "is signed by Aubrey Drake Graham, Jimmy Iovine, and a third party, whose identity has been redacted in all copies except this one." He looked directly at Drake. "But you and I both know who it is." The Jumbotron zoomed in as Kendrick slowly lowered the page to reveal the name when suddenly, the sound cut out. The mic was dead. The Jumbotron went black. The arena plunged into semi-darkness, lit only by scattered phone screens. A low murmur swelled into confusion. Then shouts. Someone had killed the feed. Kendrick's voice could be seen but not heard as he argued with someone offstage. Drake was already halfway back to his VIP section, phone in hand, smiling like a man who had just pulled off a perfectly timed counterstrike. Within minutes, hashtags like #ContractGate, #Toronto Shutdown, and #Who is the third name were trending worldwide. Clips of the blackout moment went viral, some swearing they saw the name before the lights cut. Others claiming Kendrick never actually showed it. In the chaos, one thing was clear. This wasn't over. Not by a long shot. Back in his dressing room, Kendrick threw the now useless mic onto the couch. "He's scared," he muttered. That blackout wasn't a coincidence. Dave Free looked up from his phone. "Then we go bigger. Next city, no blackout. No interruptions." Kendrick nodded slowly. "And no mercy." The blackout in Toronto sent shockwaves far beyond the arena walls. Fans everywhere were buzzing, dissecting every frame of that fateful moment when Kendrick's mic went dead and the Jumbotron went black. Social media erupted in speculation. Who was the mysterious third party? Why was the feed cut? And most importantly, what would happen next? But Kendrick wasn't waiting. Within 24 hours, he sat down for a highly anticipated exclusive interview with a top music journalist at a major network. The setting was tense, a sleek, dimly lit studio where every word would be scrutinized. Cameras rolled as Kendrick leaned forward, his face calm but his eyes sharp with resolve. "I'm not here to play games," he said. "The industry thinks they can silence me with blackouts and leaks. They're dead wrong. The truth's bigger than anyone's show or any one document. And I'm ready to bring it all to light." The interviewer pressed hard, pushing Kendrick to reveal more about the redacted name in the contract. Kendrick smiled, cryptic but firm. "Some secrets don't need to be named out loud for the world to understand. The connections speak for themselves." Meanwhile, the leaked contract pages that Kendrick had hinted at started to surface online, courtesy of anonymous whistleblowers who claimed to have access to the original files. As the documents spread, so did the outrage. Music insiders began questioning the ethics of streaming deals and exclusive contracts that shaped the industry behind closed doors, more than just fans. Even artists took to social media to voice their concern. The narrative was shifting. This was no longer a rap beef, but a systemic industry issue that cut to the heart of how music was distributed and promoted. Drake's camp responded with an official statement. Carefully worded but dismissive, allegations are being circulated without evidence or context. We stand by the integrity of Mr. Graham and his team. We'll continue to focus on the music. But public trust was shaken. The carefully crafted image of an artist untouchable and pure was cracking under the pressure of the revelations. Music industry's shiny surface was showing cracks, and everyone was watching to add fuel to the fire. A viral video emerged showing a heated confrontation between Drake's label executives and a popular streaming platform's curator. The footage was grainy, but unmistakable discussions of priority placement and playlist deals were caught on mic, suggesting behind-the-scenes manipulation of the very charts fans worshipped. Kendrick's team seized the moment, posting clips on social media with captions like, "The truth isn't just on paper, it's happening right now." Fans around the world rallied behind Kendrick. Hashtags like #ExposeTheGame, #KendrickTruth, and #StreamFairness dominated trending lists across platforms. Even celebrities weighed in, some publicly supporting Kendrick's fight for transparency in the industry. Names from all genres tweeted or posted stories echoing the call for change. This movement transcended the usual boundaries of hip-hop. Became a cultural conversation about fairness, ethics, and power structures that influenced what millions heard every day. But the mysterious third party remained the biggest question mark. Whispers suggested it wasn't just a business mogul or label executive, it was someone with political ties, someone powerful enough to pull strings beyond the music world. This elevated the situation from industry scandal to something with geopolitical implications. Kendrick dropped hints in his next concert set, referring cryptically to invisible hands and silent kings, fueling fan theories and conspiracy videos that racked up millions of views. Every lyric felt like a message coded just for those paying close attention. Drake, meanwhile, kept a low profile but was reportedly in emergency meetings with legal teams, publicists, and close allies. Sources close to him claimed he was planning a major counterattack, not just a diss track, but a full-scale media campaign to reclaim the narrative and protect his empire in private. Drake's camp worked tirelessly, vetting potential leaks, preparing statements, and coordinating with streaming platforms. The war wasn't just being fought in music or social media. It was now in boardrooms, courtrooms, and newsrooms worldwide. Amid the chaos, the music industry was watching closely. Executives worried about potential investigations into unfair contract practices and streaming manipulation. Several lawmakers were said to be drafting inquiries to better understand these exclusive deals and their effect on market fairness and artist competition. Artists debated publicly about loyalty and fairness. Some sided with Kendrick's calls for transparency. Others cautioned that exposing contracts could backfire and hurt artists' creative freedoms and business deals. The entire hip-hop community seemed divided between those who saw Kendrick as a fearless truth-teller and those who viewed him as a reckless disruptor. Social media arguments flared up daily, often turning heated and personal. The war had gone global and the stakes couldn't be higher. For Kendrick, this was no longer just about Drake or even about music. This was about shaking a system that had long been rigged in favor of the few at the expense of the many. And for Drake, was about survival both of his career and his legacy. The next move would decide everything. Asterisk. Hashtags, #ExposeTheGame, #KendrickTruth, #StreamFairness, #ContractGate, #HipHopRevolution. The tension was palpable as the next big show date arrived. The world had been holding its breath ever since Toronto. Fans from every corner of the globe tuned in, waiting to see how Kendrick would push the war further and how Drake would respond. Backstage, Kendrick paced. The black manila folder was in his hands once more, but this time he had prepared differently. No interruptions, no technical blackouts. The entire event was being live-streamed on multiple platforms, every word, every page, every reaction. His team was buzzing with nervous energy, but Kendrick's face was stoic. He knew this was bigger than just music. It was a battle for truth, for control, for the soul of the industry across the country. Drake was watching, not from backstage, but from a private viewing party with close allies and family. His phone was blowing up with news alerts and fan reactions. He knew Kendrick's move would be historic. But he was ready with a surprise of his own. As the arena lights dimmed, Kendrick took the stage with a quiet confidence. The crowd erupted, but he silenced them with a raised hand. "Last time in Toronto, I promised to reveal the full truth," Kendrick said, voice steady and commanding. "Tonight, you get it all." He opened the folder and began reading aloud the contract details, names, percentages, and most importantly, the redacted third party. The crowd gasped as he revealed the name. Martin Jacobs, a powerful music mogul whose name had never surfaced publicly before. Whispers spread fast. Martin Jacobs was infamous behind the scenes, rumored to control multiple labels and streaming alliances. But he had always stayed out of the spotlight. This man, Kendrick declared, has shaped the careers of countless artists, including Drake. But at what cost? Suddenly, the stage lights flickered again. But this time, no blackout. Instead, a giant screen lit up behind Kendrick, showing footage of confidential meetings, emails, and secret contracts, all linking Jacobs to exclusive deals, payola, schemes, and attempts to silence dissenting artists. The crowd was stunned into silence. Then, out of nowhere, the opening chords of a song echoed through the arena. A new track by Drake dropped unexpectedly as a response. His voice cut through. The tension, "You think the game's yours to play? I'm the king of my own fate today. You want the truth? Here's my say. I'm more than contracts. I'm the voice of the fray." Drake himself stepped onto the stage, live from a surprise remote location, addressing Kendrick directly. The crowd erupted into chaos, cheers, boos, screams. But Drake's message was clear. He wasn't going down without a fight. Kendrick smiled, acknowledging the challenge, but he wasn't rattled. He walked to the edge of the stage and spoke directly to the cameras. "This isn't just about me and Aubrey," Kendrick said. "This is about changing the culture. We either keep playing by their rules or we rewrite the whole damn game." The final moments were electric. The internet exploded with reactions, debates, and predictions. The war wasn't over, but the world had witnessed history. #HASHTAGS. Hashtag Final Showdown. Hashtag KDOTV's Drake. Hashtag Martin Jacobs exposed. Hashtag hip hop history. Hashtag game changer. If you thought this was intense, just wait, because the Kendrick Lamar versus Drake saga is far from over. Hit that like button if you're here for every explosive detail. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications, so you never miss an update on this jaw-dropping battle. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Who do you think is winning this war? Is Kendrick exposing the industry's darkest secrets? Or is Drake about to flip the script with his next move? Share this video with your friends and let the world join the conversation. This isn't just music, drama, it's a revolution, shaking the foundations of hip-hop. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at your channel name for exclusive behind-the-scenes, fan theories, and breaking news. Stay tuned, because the next chapter is going to blow your mind. Hashtag Final Showdown. Hashtag KDOTV's Drake. Hashtag Hip Hop Revolution. Hashtag stay tuned. Hashtag subscribe now.